Hey everyone, welcome back to Town City State. Today I've got a tier list for you. US airports. About a year ago I ranked hotel brands and I got a lot of comments with insight and just what you guys thought about that tier list and where you guys would have placed certain hotels and everything. And I thought it'd be a great idea to do the same thing with US airports. So I've got about 19 airports here, all in the US, the most populous ones in terms of passengers coming in and out of them. So let's get started. The first one we have is Charlotte Douglas. Typically, I'm not ending up in Charlotte. I'm just flying through. It's a main hub for American Airlines, and I've never been to Charlotte outside of the airport. But the one problem I have with Charlotte Airport is when I'm making connections, I always have to take a mad dash over to my gate. It's never in the same gate, and it's a huge airport, so I don't know what kind of problem that is, but I just remember myself about 15 years old sprinting through the Charlotte airport to make my connection to Fort Lauderdale, only for only for the gates to have been closed for like 5 minutes, and I had to fly to Miami instead, which is a huge, huge mess. So Charlotte, I'm gonna put right off the rip at C. Um, yeah, I think that's good. Oh, here's another one. Phoenix, just the mad scrambles at Phoenix and Charlotte. Phoenix, it's very central to downtown, which I really like. Phoenix is going to be a hub for American Airlines as well. Being that it's in downtown, I'm going to give it points for that. We live in an airport that's like close and convenient. Um, Phoenix, I think my biggest problem with Phoenix is that you have to take a shuttle for the to catch a rental car, and that shuttle is like 20 to 25 minutes away. I swear it's so far from the airport. So I think I think the best place to put this is, does it go with Charlotte? You know what? 25 minutes to get your rental car is a stretch, especially if you're in a rush. So let's put Phoenix at C. Yeah, let's do that. I'm comfortable with that. Next up, Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Fort Lauderdale, I like Fort Lauderdale. It's a bit dated. It's a hub for Silver Airlines, but it's a bit dated. Um, it's smaller, which is good. It's a good alternate to Miami. I think it has some of the fastest. Now, I've maybe only traveled off season, but I've experienced some of the fastest and shortest TSA lines at Fort Lauderdale. The food choices are pretty decent for an airport its size, so I'm gonna give it a. I think Fort Lauderdale, to me, Fort Lauderdale is an A. I really don't have anything wrong with it. Now I can imagine on the peak seasons people coming in and out of Fort Lauderdale. I haven't flown into there and out or out of there in a few years, but just from what I remember, I'm gonna give it an A. I have no bad things to say about Fort Lauderdale. This super zoomed in logo, you can kind of make it out. LOG Logan. It's Boston Logan. Some of these just got cut off, but I'll let you know which ones they are if so. Um, Boston Logan is I'm gonna put Boston Logan in a B. Um, it's a hub for, I think it's a hub for Delta. Yeah, it's a hub for Delta, and um, I like that it's close to downtown. It's right on the water. Um, it's honestly a beautiful airport. I haven't been there a ton. I've only been to Boston two times in my life. But flying through Boston is usually good. I've never had to connect there to fly from, let's just say, Denver to Boston to like Portland, Maine. Um, so I don't know how connections are made over there, but Boston, I like Boston. Yeah, Boston Logan's good. DFW. This is Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. You can kind of make it out there. Sorry, I'm not sure why I cut all of these off, or most of them. But yeah, for Dallas, I'm going to put Dallas. I think I'm going to give DFW a B. Uh, it's good for connecting. It's a huge airport. You have to give them credit. I mean, it's a hub for American Airlines, Ameriflight, Southern Airways Express. I I researched that. I had no idea what that was, but typically you'll be flying through there if you're taking American Airlines on a cross-continental kind of flight. But There's a lot of moving parts. It's, I think, the second biggest, second to Atlanta, which we'll get to. We'll get to that next, apparently. Um, yeah, I like Dallas. It's the American terminals are the only terminals I think I have traveled through, and those are just gorgeous. They're really new, big, modern. I believe it was the American terminals. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, just a nice some. I've been to the nice parts of this, so I'm gonna rank it a B, or an A. I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it in B for now. I think I'm going to leave it in B. I'm sure I've had some bad connections there that I'm blanking on. So I'm just taking the safe route and putting it in B. But yeah. Okay. So Atlanta. Atlanta is the biggest airport, not only in the country, but in the world. So where are we going to put Atlanta? I'm thinking it's going to be a B. Every time I've connected there, I've had really pretty long connection times. I'm sure that just has to do with the amount of moving parts and the amount of flights that can take off in a certain amount of time. But yeah, I like Atlanta. It's not the newest looking. I think they're doing some renovations, but it's a hub for Delta. It is the hub for Delta. I mean, Delta is Atlanta and Atlanta is Delta. I mean, when you think of Atlanta, you think of Delta and vice versa. So yeah, I like Atlanta in the B section. Oh, we've got an easy one here. Do I have to explain? There's really no explanation. LAX, I've traveled through LAX so many times. I've had some of the worst moments of my life trying to inch my way forward into the terminals and go all the way around to like Terminal 6. And it's just like sometimes it will take 30 minutes just to drive and drop somebody off or pick somebody up. Well, usually drop offs from Terminal 1 all the way to like Terminal 8 or Terminal 6. LAX can be a grid, but also sometimes it can be pretty clear. It just depends. Like, I remember I went on a Friday and it was like so clear. I was like, where is everybody? And then you go on a Saturday or on a Monday and everybody is just at LAX and traveling and stuff. So I just don't have many good things, if any good things to say about LAX. It's old. The terminals are boring. The food options are kind of a saving grace, but not enough. So LAX goes in the LAX category. I mean, that's what it's there for. And I don't think any of the remaining airports are gonna be in the LAX category unless I have some sort of memory that conjures up and I'd be like, oh my god, that experience was LAX worthy. But LAX belongs with LAX. Okay, enough LAX talk. LaGuardia is next. Hot take, I'm gonna put LaGuardia in an A. I know. Leave the comment section below what you think of LaGuardia, what your experience is there. I remember before they did the big renovations, and I'm sure they're still ongoing. I don't live in New York, but before they and during the big renovations, I think it was a new Delta terminal or a new American terminal. It was a nightmare. The directions were confused on my Maps app. Like everything was just really not great. I traveled to LaGuardia recently, and it was actually a pleasant experience. Things were new and modern and nice, and all the kind of the scaffolding had kind of gone away, or most of it. I don't remember a lot. But LaGuardia, typically a good place to land. JFK, you're going to get an easier connection into Manhattan through JFK, which is down here. We've got that coming up soon. But yeah, JFK, LaGuardia, solid airport. Okay, Newark. Wow, we've got the New York airports 3 in a row. Okay, rapid fire. So Newark, I'm also going to put an A. It's less stress, I believe, than JFK and LaGuardia. Everybody wants to fly into these airports, but Newark is low-key, it's a sleeper. It's a sleeper airport. They've got that tram that I believe connects into, I don't think it connects right into the city. I may be wrong though, but it might, because I remember going through LaGuardia or going through Newark and trying to get into the city, and was kind of stress-free. So I like Newark. JFK has been hit or miss for me. I've had some good connections and final destinations at JFK. Of course, that's the airport most people use for New York City. So, look, New York City is the most populous city in the nation, and with that airport, you're going to have some problems. I've experienced lost baggage, just flight delays. JFK, it can be hit or miss, so I'm going to put it in the C. I'm going to put it in the C. Las Vegas is an airport I have not traveled through. There's only, I believe, 4 airports out of the 19 that I have not traveled through. Las Vegas being one of them. So just off the bat, I'm gonna go see. Let me know how Las Vegas is down in the comments section. I know that there's a lot of gambling machines, slot machines. I forgot the name. Slot machines just sporadically placed throughout the airport, which for Las Vegas makes sense, but also really, you really can't wait. I mean, uh, maybe for that alone, I should give it a D. I don't know, but I don't know. I think C is okay. I haven't been there. It might be the most amazing airport ever. I don't know. Minneapolis, another one I haven't been, so I'm going to put in the C. Again, let me know down in the comments. And for future tier lists, I'm going to make sure that I've experienced all of the above, just like the last hotel one I hadn't experienced jury suites, and I got a ribbing in the comments, which is great. I love the feedback. But we're going to put that in C for now. Miami International Airport. Miami International Airport. I think this one goes in D. And it's a hub for a lot of international travel, which I don't typically do. I haven't traveled internationally in over a decade, but Miami, it's harder. Look, it's harder to get to than Fort Lauderdale. It's busier than Fort Lauderdale. The few times that I've traveled through Miami, I'm just getting insane amount of TSA wait times. The length, just crazy. So I think Miami, I don't have many good things to say. I think it's going through a lot of growing pains, and I think they need to do some changes there in terms of just revitalizing it. In certain areas, it's nice, but it needs a little TLC. Just like Fort Lauderdale, by the way. But there's a lot more pros here than pros here, and a lot less cons here, and a lot more cons here. So anyway, we're going to go to O'Hare, which is obviously Chicago's biggest airport. O'Hare Airport is another one I haven't traveled through, so I'm going to put it in the C. Again, this one, have not been to. All the others I have, besides our next one. But O'Hare, just going to put it in C, along with Orlando. Again, I haven't been to these 4 airports, so they're going in C. Something to consider here, this is the second or third largest city, probably going to be more busy. I've seen videos about O'Hare. It looks really nice. The main corridor with the big glass ceilings, I think they are, and just the food hall. Excuse me. Just the food halls going through there. I see a lot of choices. Orlando, a big hub for travel, of course, with Disney and Universal. So, and I tend to take some points off and keep some points, and just because I know that, an airport like Boston Logan is not dealing with the load that Fort Lauderdale does or Orlando does in certain seasons. So, San Francisco. I've connected through, I believe. It's a United hub. I like San Francisco. I've got no complaints. I think I'm going to put it in B. It's situated close enough to downtown where it's not a hassle. It's good for connecting. It's a good middle point between SoCal, Pacific Northwest. If you're flying from Los Angeles to San Francisco to Chicago on United, it's a good middle area. You don't feel like you're absolutely going in the wrong direction. So yeah, I think it's a good one. And then next up, Seattle. I really like Seattle. I traveled to Seattle International recently, and I really like Seattle. It's new. It's got like nice amenities and a good food selection. However, one of the biggest things I hate about these airports is them making you take a bus to the Uber and Lyft pickup. I like airports like, I don't know if you guys have been to San Diego, but they pick you up right at the airport, right in front of the that would be the arrivals section. So Seattle, they make you kind of go on a hunt for the Lyft and Uber stations, which is not ideal if you're looking for a quick, get to the hotel. I got to put my bags down. Just kind of a hassle. But a beautiful logo. I really like the Seattle logo and the Seattle coloring, the green, what their sports teams have been doing, Seattle Kraken and the Mariners. Really clean logos. Seattle and their logos really, really get a thumbs up for me. Next up is Houston. I think it's George Bush International. George Bush. I'm gonna give it an A. I've had really good experiences at stopping there on, again, cross continental trips. It's one of those Texas ones where you kind of stop in the middle if you're traveling from coast to coast. Um, I think it's also a United hub. Lots of food options, not enough seating, but I don't think I'm going to dock it for that. I think the terminal that I went to didn't have enough seating. I think I flew American. I'm sure their United terminal is amazing. And then finally, Denver International Airport. You love it or you hate it. You get creeped out by it. The conspiracy theories. Nobody knows what's going on in Denver. Just everybody's having a good time, though. Now, I don't know what your experiences with Denver are, but this is going to be an S tier for me. And you're going to say, well, it's like so far from downtown. It's, it's too big. It's got all these conspiracies. There's just a lot of weirdness going on. I think the weirdness adds to Denver's like overall aura. What airport has the mainstream, population, people talking about it as much as Denver? It might not be for the right reasons, but I think Denver deserves its S placement. I've flown out of Denver a lot. I used to live in Colorado Springs, and the Colorado Springs airport doesn't. It used to not be able to handle like the population, the flights, and the demand that Colorado Springs, the growing city, had to offer. So everybody would hike up to Denver. It would be a long drive. It's way out there in the boonies, way east of Denver. But there's just so much going on there. It's so chaotic. I don't care that the wait times for TSA have been so long. I have waited like an hour there for TSA, but I don't care. I'm going to put it in S. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this tier list. Let me know which tier list you guys want to see next. And until next time, I'm Town City State.